everybody, welcome back to Supernatural Eye. My name is Francesca Garcia. I'm your lead host and investigator of this show. I'm really excited to discuss episode 3. We'll be discussing the Winchester Mystery House located in San Jose, California. That is right, we are going to be discussing Sarah Winchester and her mysterious ghost in this incredible, fascinating house that she constructed and created within her mind. I did want to come out here and apologize again for the Alcatraz episode. I want to remind everybody it's not going to go away completely. We're just working on it due to technical difficulties. And again, just to show you guys, because I know everybody's like, oh, the picture, but I want to show you a real quick clip just to show you again. I'm not BSing you. This is just a little video that I kind of took on my phone while I was working on the laptop to show you that I'm trying to export these videos. I'm trying to export these videos and play them at the same time. So let's take a couple of minutes or a couple seconds to check this out. So go ahead and check it out. So you can definitely see there that I'm here trying to play these videos, export them, and no joke, that software update definitely screwed up my files. So yeah, worst case scenario, then we'll just have to do it without video, which yeah, really sucks, but at least I have some really good EVPs along the way for that episode, so just stay tuned. We're going to try to recuperate those videos, so just hopefully we'll stay positive and it'll work out. But in the meantime, we will be discussing the Winchester Mystery House. In addition to that, we're also going to be discussing the mystery spot, which is located in Santa Cruz, California. So I'm really excited to announce a little mashup of the two. And this episode is going to be very special because even later on, we're going to be discussing a little bit of Danny's segment, and it's going to be a little bit different than what he normally does, just because I want to make this very special for you guys due to the inconvenience of the Alcatraz episodes. So again, thank you guys so much for your patience. Like, you don't understand how much that means to me and how much I was trying to push that forward. But again, I want you to know that this episode will be just as great. Winchester Mystery House and Mystery Spot. Hey, you can't go wrong with that. So first, we're going to be discussing the mystery spot located again in Santa Cruz, California. And then we'll be getting to the mystery house, or the Winchester Mystery House. Sorry, there's a lot of mysteries being thrown out there, so bear with me. But yes, mystery spot first, and then the Winchester Mystery House will be next. So let's get to it. Okay, so the mystery spot is a gravitational anomaly located in the Redwood Forest just outside of Santa Cruz, California. It's a circular area that's around 150 feet and 46 meters in diameter. Within the mystery spot, you'll be stunned by perplexed, weird gravitational forces and just things that go beyond the laws of physics that just doesn't make any sense, and you kind of question what the heck this is all about. So it was discovered in 1939 by a group of surveyors, and it opened up to the public in 1940. Again, the mystery spot has captured a lot of people's attention throughout the years. Thousands and hundred visitors go ahead and visit California out in those redwood forests to see what this is all about. So there's different theories of what causes these weird gravitational forces. One of the theories is that they believe, the most common theory, probably the one I believe too, but that a spacecraft, crashed and is just buried deep down in the ground, and these parts of the spacecraft are causing these weird gravitational forces that go beyond the laws of physics. So that is one theory that people believe, that aliens cause it, or could have caused it. The second theory, from my understanding, it was carbon dioxide permeating from the earth. So it's a hole that burned into the ozone layer, and magma, vortex of the highest biocosmic radiation, something weird within the scientific terms. Again, scientists could probably better explain that than I can, but besides the point, that was another theory that they believe. It's just some weird burning of the hole in the ozone layer, from carbon monoxide, permeating from the earth. So that is just another theory of what they believe could cause these weird gravitational forces to occur. My cousin Monica Aguirre was the one that joined me on this trip, and her and I, she at the time, we went during July 2015. We went out to go visit this place, and it was actually her idea. It wasn't my idea. So she was telling me all about it, and I was kind of curious to check it out. Like, hey, why not? We're taking this road trip. Anyways, we're going to go to the Winchester Mystery House. Let's take a little quick stop and visit the mystery spot. So that was during July 2015, somewhere around that time frame. So we got there, and right away, things were just super crazy and weird. So before we get to that, I just wanted to show you a couple pictures of the front entrance of the mystery spot, because I thought it was really pretty and it looked really cool. Even the scenery, just driving out there, was just awesome. So I'm just going to give you a couple minutes just to take a look at that beautiful scenery, because I'm very earthy like that. So check it out. I have no internet connection.
Yeah, no, we're not having internet here. Well,
Yeah.
I didn't when I came last time.
What? Oh, you've been here before? Anyways, you can see it's very beautiful in the mystery spot. Really beautiful that it makes no sense, some of these things that are described during your visits. I remember that they have a scale, like the little scale a leveler, what do you call it, level, that you could see. So they're not BSing you, in other words. Like it levels in each place that it takes you that has like a mystery to it, to show you what goes against laws of physics. So before we get to each one, I'm going to go step by step and show you the different things that we encountered out of these mystery spots. So what I recall from the mystery spot, it's like this weird tilted house that sits on top of this gravity hill. It's tilted, induced visual illusions that you'll get off these different scenarios that this tourist guide explains to us throughout the interactions of this mysterious house. I can even give you a picture of the house here if you guys want to take a look at it. So let's give it a couple minutes and you guys can take a look at the house. So take a glance at that. So you can see it's like a strange house, but results from an oddly tilted environment as well as it standing outside a tilted floor. They'll give you these type of illusions of what the heck. You take a picture and it's just strange. It's like, yes, you have this weird tilted house on this odd angle. Even when people stand outside the level ground, like even if you put the leveler, if you just stand outside the level ground of the building, the background causes these misperceptions of, the illusion of what the image creates if you take a photo in front of the house. You can even judge the height of people using a slant of the roof rather than the horizon. So it just gives you that visual illusion, misperception of what the image is normally supposed to be presented, in other words, if that makes sense. So we're going to show you some clips to kind of give you the idea of what the heck I'm talking about. But definitely the mystery spot holds a lot of misperceptions of height and orientations of objects as well. So just to give you an idea, when I say misperception of heights, I recall a scenario that they had, they asked for a couple volunteers, and I think there was like 5 to 6 of us, and they had us stand one by one, from tallest to smallest. And of course, I am like always the midget of the group. I'm like 5'2", mine and you, so I was the shortest one out of our group. Or from our tourist attraction, so they didn't really come with me, but you get what I'm saying. So anyways, the only crew member here is Monica, my cousin, so just keep that in mind. So I remember at first they lined us up, doesn't matter like what direction. Let's say, it's kind of hard to explain, but I'll show you picture by picture. So let's show you the first picture just so you guys can get an idea of how they lined us up. So let's go with photo number 1. Okay, so you can see how they lined us up. So if let's say we were to switch out, reverse, okay? The illusion normally it should stay the same. I mean, we should be lining up the same exact way. It shouldn't make a difference. But if you switch it up and do the opposite direction of lining up, you will see that I somehow become the tallest, and the tallest person becomes the shortest person, which makes absolute no sense. So let's go ahead and show you the second photo of the aftermath of when they switch us around, of how that looks like. Creepy, right? So again, if we were to switch it out, it doesn't matter whatever direction we line up, from left to right, from right to left, it should still stay the same, you would think. But if you were to switch this out, I for some reason become the tallest person. So of course you could see I was very happy. I had my thumbs up, like, hey, I'm tall for once. But yeah, so that's just one misperception of illusion of the mystery house. The other misperception or visual illusions includes even a ball rolling uphill. Yes, I said a ball rolling uphill. And if you don't believe me, all right, let me show you a video clip of that incident. So here we go. Let's take a look.
Roll ball in. It stops, and it turns right around.
Wow.
Now, some people think that we're...
I'm sorry, do we have to repeat that again? I think you guys need to see that again. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at that.
And it turns right around.
Wow.
Crazy. All right, so yeah, that is another clip of some oddities going on at the mystery spot. I remember an incident that there's even water. I don't have that clip of the water, but if you want to ever Google mystery spot, you can even see clips of water. If you pour water down that slanted wood, you could see the water just rising up back again like the rolling ball. Also, if you don't believe me, if you think it's just something like a magnets or something that they're trying to, fake it out or whatever, trick you, it's actually not, it's legit. I remember I had like a chapstick with me. They're like, oh, anybody have like an object? If you guys think we're BSing you, go ahead and give me an object. So we're giving them chapstick. And my chapstick even rolled uphill. So it's really cool. Definitely something neat and something worth watching. So definitely, yeah, really neat stuff. Visual illusion effect at the mystery spot is people leaning farther than the normal, or normally without falling down, is the other visual effect. And again, I'm going to show you some clips regarding that. So let's take a couple minutes to look at that. So super cool. I felt like, again, I was just Wonder Woman or something. So you can see my cousin and I were just leaning forward. Some people do like the Titanic pose if you're like in a couple. Obviously my cousin and I were not going to do that. But another cool experience that we had, that was an illusion effect. I remember that they told us just lean all the way, not stay on that table, just lean all the way back at a certain spot. And it's like you can do the Spider-Man pose. Like you're like, I can't explain. Well, I'll show you the picture in a second. But anyways, you're leaning all the way back. And that was really cool. I felt like I was like the Exorcist or something crazy like that. So let's go ahead and show you some pictures of my cousin and I just leaning back. Really neat. I'm not going to go into depth about like each different illusional experience and stuff like that, but at least you can kind of have an idea of what the mystery spot is about. So definitely go check it out if you haven't already, and it's definitely worth watching and visiting. So definitely psychologists from Berkeley University mentioned that illusions can be explained just simply by the angle of the tilted house. The house is slanted at a 20-degree angle, so that is an explanation that psychologists state of why these illusions and misperceptions are created or fabricated by the mind. Another theory suggests that a meteor just fell from ancient times and left some magic, like a magic circular force to it in that environment. And that's what's caused the mystery. Also suggests that electromagnetic field on the hill Dieter's the wildlife, so you can see some wildlife trees are slanted just like, you know, in the direction of that slanted house. Just crazy stuff like that. Definitely the wildlife is different. I heard like there's not a whole lot of birds that go around that area. They go, you know, around the circular area, but just the wildlife definitely explains a lot of, you know, the mystery in that spot. The mystery spot in Santa Cruz, California is the first gravity-defying tourist attraction. Something similar to those tourist attractions are, you know, similar to the mystery spot. There's one called in Oregon Vortex. Again, similar scenarios of gravity-defying laws. The other one is called the Wonder Spot, and that is located in Wisconsin. So you can definitely check out these places, and they're very cool. They're very neat to go ahead and check it out. But definitely, it was one of the highlights of my trip. Again, this was more my cousin's idea than my idea. My idea was doing the Winchester Mystery House, but she was like, "Hey, let's go pass by the mystery spot. It should be on the way here. It's like supposed to be really cool, and it's like got good reviews in California to go check out. And it's about weird things like that. So you know me, I'm all about, you know, adventure, mystery, and traveling and discovering the unknown and mysteries of life. So I definitely want to check it out, and definitely it's worth checking. So check out the mystery spot in Santa Cruz, California. Anyways, moving on, we are now going to discuss the one, the only, the infamous Winchester Mystery House. We're going to check out the Winchester Mystery House. And that's what we're going to discuss next. As you may notice, I did change my outfit here in inspiration of Sarah Winchester. I did hear that her favorite color is black, and I admire this woman so much. I think she's such a badass, and we have a lot of similarities, and I'll explain that throughout her history and throughout this experience that we had at the Winchester house. I do have some spoiler alerts or a little bit of some sad news to announce, and it was sad news at the time. At 2015, we went again, my cousin and I, Monica, during July 2015. During that time, I got some cool pictures from outside of the house. Unfortunately, the place did not allow me to film inside the house or take any photos due to it being copyright by Hollywood. At that time, or probably recently, you probably have heard of the Winchester film that came out by Hollywood. I think it came out during 2018. Again, mind you, this trip was my trip was during 2015. So this was way before the film came out. So it all sinks into the timeline in case you guys think I'm BSing you, which I'm not. You can ask even the Winchester, you know, staff and facility and workers, you know, if that is true. During that time, did you guys not allow people to film and record inside the house due to Hollywood? And they will tell you that is true. So during that time, that was my case, that they wouldn't allow me to film. So I was really disappointed about that, because hello, it's the Winchester house. I would definitely go back in a heartbeat, just because obviously the film is done and over with, and I'm sure nowadays they will allow you to, you know, film inside and take pictures. So I would like to go back due to that. But it is sad that, you know, for now on this segment, we're just going to discuss my experience, what I've encountered, which I know it's unfortunate because it's not believable unless you have some video evidence. And I promise you we're going to get through that here shortly in our upcoming episodes. And hopefully if, you know, Alcatraz does get recovered, the footage and the videos do, then hopefully you guys can see that as well. And trust me, I do have video footage for upcoming investigations. Just bear with me. But anyways, we're just going to discuss the history of the Winchester house, and trust me, it is awesome to even just talk about, because it is, hello, the Winchester house and Sarah Winchester. For those of you know her or not, she's very popular in the paranormal, you know, world, and trust me, it's not a subject to disappoint about. Mary Pardee Winchester was born in 1840. Sooner or later, she became a very wealthy woman, and she married into the Winchester Rifle Company, or family based. So she married William Winchester in 1862, whose father, Oliver Winchester, were the founders of the company, the Winchester Rifles. It was a very popular weapon back in the Civil War days. It was known to be the ultimate weapon of death for the wars to come. So from there on, they had a baby girl in 1866, their first daughter named Annie Pardee Winchester, who sadly and tragically died 6 weeks afterwards. And from there on, she just had nonetheless just tragic deaths after tragic deaths after tragic deaths. From there on, Sarah Winchester was experiencing death after death. So 1880, Oliver Winchester then passed away, leaving the company to his son, William Winchester. Then William contracted tuberculosis in 1881, and I think it was a couple months shortly after his father passed away, and then he passed away because of that. After a few months that his father passed away, he left the fortune to the widow, Sarah Winchester, as we are talking about now. And William's death was unbearable to Sarah, so she was convinced that she was cursed some way or the other. She was that convinced that she had to seek help from a psychic in Boston that she contracted, and the psychic did confirm that she was cursed by the victims of the Winchester rifle victims. Due to the numerous deaths of the Winchester rifles, the psychic then pretty much give advice to Sarah Winchester that she should move out west, build this mansion to confuse the spirits and the bad spirits and ward them off. And this needed to be done because she would be the next victim of death. Sarah did just that. She moved out west, and she moved from Connecticut to San Jose, California, built this extreme mansion. I think she built like a 2-story farmhouse. I think it was rumored to have like 8 bedrooms or something like that. And the only thing I can do, just to reminding you, I can, only take pictures from the Winchester Mystery House website on social media. So I got some of their pictures. So these pictures that were taken inside, obviously were not coming from me. They're coming from their website. So I'm just going to, clear that or state that right now. So anyways, go ahead and check out that house. So let's go check out their farmer house before. So she built and built and built because the psychic told her she cannot stop. Once the hammers stop, that's it. That's the end of her. So she just kept building and building, and already that farmhouse was big enough. But she kept building and building and building, and surely enough, it became the mansion that it is. So that's that. And let's go ahead and check out the pictures of what the mansion is nowadays. Anyways, yeah, she just kept building and building. Mind you, Sarah Winchester is actually very short. So she is 4'10". Obviously, I'm 5'2", and we're pretty short ladies. Obviously, I'm a little bit taller than her, but anyways, she's pretty short. She was a woman ahead of her time. She was known as a pioneer, just very sophisticated lady. And even the way she constructed her house was amazing. Just very, very, very ahead of her time. Everything was, and love decor, like love interior decor. Like I've learned lately, sorry, I can't talk, I'm starting to love interior decor too. So we're very similar in that sense. She has like fine details, including like the door hinges, the door knobs, like there's just fine and detail, art just from different countries like Japan, different places of the world, India, just anything. She has like different theme rooms. Her house was built like in such oddities too that just made no sense, and we'll discuss that here later. So anyways, the house has rumored, or is known actually for facts, has 2,000 doors, 10,000 windows, 47 fireplaces, 40 staircases, 3 elevators, and 161 rooms. Yeah, holy moly, this place was huge, very huge. You literally can't go there by yourself. Like you have to be escorted by a tour guide somehow, some way, because trust me, you will get lost, and it's like scary. It's like you're in a maze, from what I recall, and it's like everything were like narrow hallways. Like she built it in such a strange way that it makes absolute no sense. So you will get lost if you don't have a tour guide there. And I can only imagine you'll get lost for hours, possibly days. So that's how crazy this structure is from inside the house. So yeah, Sarah was very into design, very into like Victorian architecture and macabre style. So that is your girl here. She had a strong symbolism to the number 13. That was her favorite number, and there were hints around the house of her ideas and design of the number 13. Her favorite thing that was worth so much money was her stained windows, like beautiful crystals in these stained windows. And I think she had like 13 stained windows and 13 panel ceilings, bathrooms that contained 13 windows. So her number was 13. There was like crystals in one of her stained panels or stained windows that had like these little, I think it was like her favorite stained window that had like 13 gems on it. And it was beautiful. Like these stained windows like nowadays cost a fortune. And that was her thing, was collecting stained windows. And she'd even use them all. Like I think she has like one room that's a collection of all her stained windows, and there's some throughout the house. The most expensive one is I think in the ballroom. So the ballroom has the most expensive stained window. So very, very beautiful. She was very, very fancy, very, I guess you could call nowadays bougie, just very high ahead of the game of the design game. And also I think I told you she was big into innovation. So she was the state of art and science in the late 1800s. So during that time she had like this sophisticated cutting edge features, such as indoor plumbing, showers where ladies back then used like a bathtub. So she had like your very first shower. And since she suffered from arthritis, this was an ideal shower that she would need to have. So usually back then it was a tub for ladies, but this is what she needed. So she had the very first shower installed at her house, and that was the one that she used. And I think it fitted perfectly for her because again of her arthritis, so it helped a lot. Every room was insulated, so she's the one fabricating these ideas, minding you. And every room had electricity. And pretty much she had like an army of workers. Minding you, she treated her workers very well. It was rumored that she pretty much paid, even like the workers had children, she paid for their college education because minding you, she didn't have any family. I think from what I've heard, it was like she had a niece that stayed with her for a couple years. And that was close to a family relative that she was close to, but that's why she suffered a lot, because she had absolutely no family. Everybody passed away around her. So she treated her servants and her family army of workers like, they had their own rooms, paid for their kids, tuition for college, just stuff like that. Like she was known to treat her workers very well. Yeah, and her workers were very loyal to her as well. So it was a mutual kind love relationship in that sense. So another thing that was interesting about Sarah Winchester that I can definitely relate to her is that she has a love for gardening, sophisticated drainage system around her house, for watering her plants. She even put like drain faucets, in most of the areas of the rooms. So again, she was a true pioneer and woman ahead of her game. She had these, one cool thing I remember the tour guide mentioned, there was like these connecting tubes that she had for each room that was like an intercom, like a walkie-talkie intercom system base. And it's like she can communicate with her servants through these intercoms, and it's like a connecting tube back in those days. So I thought that was very fascinating, fascinating idea that she created and fabricated with her mind back in those times. So yeah, she had these weird oddities, or she was known for these strange features around her house and oddities. And as you know, it's just never ending construction. So things that, like, for instance, there's a door that leads to a sheer drop. So I'm going to show you that door because I actually could take a picture of that from the outside, minding you. So let's go ahead and take a couple minutes and take a picture of that door that leads to a sheer drop. And just going in that house was like a freaking maze. Like, you would get lost, no doubt. There's a staircase that leads to nowhere. That was another oddity and strange feature. So that funny thing, again, don't go after me, Hollywood. I was able to sneak a little picture of the staircase that leads nowhere. So again, I wasn't supposed to record or film, but I was just so pissed off that I'm like, the rebel in me came in. That was like, I'm taking a freaking picture. So I took the only picture that I took, and you can see it's kind of blurry. Well, and again, my iPhone back then was probably like a blurry iPhone, or who knows, it was a grainy image. But let's go ahead and take a look of the one picture that I took a little sneak action pack in that house. Anyways, I can't talk. So go ahead and take a picture, or take a look at that picture. Very cool. Again, don't come after me, Hollywood. Let it slide. So that was like my moment. That was like, yes. But anyways, yeah, I thought that was really cool. So trap doors, obviously I couldn't take pictures of everything, so I wasn't allowed to, but there's these trap doors. I remember there's one that like shoots straight to like the kitchen or something like that. So that was very interesting. Secret passageways, that was really cool. Bizarre face skylights that were like on the floor instead of the ceiling. So in just odd places. Spider web windows, which were, I thought they were beautiful. But anyway, some people think that's weird. Doors that open to blank walls, like different sizes of doors. Also, because she suffered from arthritis, there's these steps that are called like slider steps or something. They're very small. So these stairs too, like they're like oddly like shape and like the way that you go like up them. And some people state that they get weird sensations and feelings during those steps. Like they feel like they have paranormal encounters. Going up them, I thought they were strange. Like they kind of got me a little bit dizzy as an empath, but I didn't think much of it, or at least I didn't have an experience. And I'll tell you the room I did have an experience, but we'll get to that in a second. Sad enough, I couldn't record, but I'm not going to keep harping on it. But anyways, that's what people state, that those slider steps, like normally you'll get paranormal encounters during those slider steps. But again, I just felt like kind of weird because it was just a weird architecture, even going up them, that it tired me a little bit, believe it or not. But other than that, I didn't feel anything paranormal. So another interesting fact I wanted to share from my recall for what the tour guide mentioned. I think it was like either 1904 or 1905. There was like a 7.5 magnitude earthquake that struck the San Jose area. And Sarah Winchester was trapped in, I believe, what was called the Daisy Room. It was one of the rooms in that area. And she had, like, at the time before the earthquake, was like a 7-story tower. So her mansion was like 7 stories considering, and that tower collapsed during the earthquake in 1905, or I think it was 1904. I take that back. If not, go ahead and clarify that for me, you historians, but I think it was 1904, so I take that back. So yeah, she got trapped in the Daisy Room, and pretty much she was convinced that the ghosts or the spirits were after her when she was trapped, that was a warning that her death was near to come. So from there on, she realized that she cannot build upwards, that she has to now build outwards. So after that earthquake that scarred her, she felt like that was a sign, and from there on, she started building her mansion more outwards rather than inwards. And I think now it's like either 3 or 4 stories, considering that's tops. But I thought that I should have mentioned that. So I'm going to show you pictures because, again, this is coming from the Winchester website. So let's go ahead and show you some pictures of the earthquake aftermath situation before it used to be a 7-story mansion. Let's go ahead and show you that photo. And then obviously let's see a little bit of the damages and then what it is now. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool to bring out and share. So definitely, I think the house nowadays, or before we even get to that, Sarah Winchester did die in 1922 of heart failure. and she died in her known bedroom. So again, I'm going to show you her bedroom real quick. This is again taken from the website. So you could see that's her bedroom, where she died at the age of 82. Rumor has it that no one had interest in buying her house because back then, I guess Sarah Winchester was known to be a little bit introverted or antisocial. I think that's like me nowadays too. But anyways, so yeah, she was known to be that way, and she was just that crazy woman that just was to herself and had a lot of money, and everybody passed away, and she was a weirdo, and just built this crazy house. So nobody had interest. Like, that house was spooky. It had a reputation for ghost already, and nobody was interested in it. Even there's a local aristocrat back then that purchased it for $120,000. Yes, $120,000. I meant to say, if I said that incorrectly, and then converted it to a tourist attraction. So people claim till this day that Sarah Winchester still haunts the grounds. I totally believe that somehow, some way. When I got there, I felt like her presence was very dominant, but it could be my psyche. But yet again, I 100% believe that, and we'll get to that in a second. Also, people claim that they've seen one of her workers named Clyde, and he is the groundskeeper, the maintenance guy that is known to push a wheelbarrow in the basement area and even outside of the grounds. So those are the known hauntings, and also possibly the Winchester victims of the rifle that also till this day haunt the house. So yes, and what I understood is back then the house was worth $5 million. In today's net worth, that is $71 million that the house is worth. So it is a huge mansion, even still till this day. Okay, so now jumping back to my experience, or what I experienced throughout my tour of the Winchester Mystery House. So mind you, again, I couldn't record because they wouldn't allow me to record inside, which was very disappointing because that's when I first got my infrared GoPro. And I was ready to go. I was ready to go. I filmed in Alcatraz, even though that was the main attraction at the time, throughout this trip. But definitely I wanted to go see Winchester. So yes, I was a little disappointed. Hopefully I'll go back in the future, but we'll see how that goes. So jumping on, Sarah Winchester had this infamous room called, or known as the Blue Room, the seance room, where she practices her seance daily to see what her future plans of construction were going to be. So the guides the spirits and the guides have guided her to construct the house that she has and her future plans and what she needed to do. It was a ritual that she had, and she did it constantly and daily. So at the struck at midnight, the bell rung. So the workers rung the bell, and she had this bell just right outside, like literally a big bell. And that is her session time, that everybody knew that they had to be quiet around her seance time. So it was known as the Blue Room, and I recall it was like a white and blue room. This blue room had one entryway and 3 exits. It had a secret passage or secret exit through a closet that goes to another room, and that was the room, or not the closet room, but anyways, the Blue Room is the room that Sarah Winchester had seances and talked to the spirits that guide her to her future construction plans and what she needed to do for her life. So my experience, what I recall, and this is the only thing that I felt like was paranormal to me, that was like, already the house had a creepy vibe to it. Like, the oddities were just strange, going through those narrow passageways, and like the hallways were narrow, just odd things. So already you get a creepy vibe. Okay. So as we were discussing in the seance room, we're all in there, and I recall she showed us the room that takes you to the passage room, the closet to the other side. So that closet area is where I had my experience. So I remember she was like, who wants to be the one that opens the door? So of course nobody wanted to, and I was like, because I'm weird, me. I want to be that person. So I was like the first one to raise my hand. I'm like, yep, I want to do that. So I went ahead and opened up the door. Since I was the first one to go, she's like, okay, well, since you opened the door, you got to be the first one to go in. And I guess that even kind of creeped out the tour guide because she says that room was very active, and I can now see why. So when I opened up the door, I remember that was a door, and then there was like wooden planks. Like obviously the little closet was like wooden. And I kid you not, as I was going through it, or I was going straight to walk to the closet, I saw like a shadow figure. I swear I saw this. I saw like a shadow figure pass on by quickly to go to the other room. And I kind of stopped, and the tour guide's like, what happened? What did you see? I'm like, I could have sworn I just saw something move, or I saw like a shadow just go pass by. So I remember that she looked at the time, she was like looking at her clock or her watch, and she was like, well, there was a tour guide. If it was debunked, it could be another tour guide with her group. But we do space these tours out, and there shouldn't be a way that would have been another tour guide. Like it would have been like approximately a 20-minute space time period, unless somebody got lost, which is not likely, she said, because they're very in control of who gets lost around the house. But there's like a 20-minute gap in between, like let's say the future tour and our next tour or whatever, when they walk around the house. So she says it's very unlikely that it could be somebody else from the other tour because they spaced them out very well. So I think she even radioed the other tour guide that was ahead of her or something. They have their own radios. So I think she confirmed it wasn't them, just to make sure when they have encounters like that it's legit. So she says it was very possible that I did witness a spirit or something paranormal. Again, if I had my GoPro on my head, I would have been able to capture that, but I'm sorry. So blame Hollywood this time. Blame Hollywood. But anyways, I feel like I'm like here blaming people. But the point is, really, I want to go back. That is definitely on my bucket list. If I can go back to Winchester in a heartbeat, I would take my GoPro, try to do another little investigation tour. Honestly, this was an investigation because I had to go along with the tour. But they did allow me to bring my paranormal equipment. Obviously, I couldn't record. That was the one thing. She's like, I'm sorry. I know it's a big bummer, especially for an investigator, but you just can't record. So, because of Hollywood. So that sucked. But anyways, that was a really cool experience. I could say I had a paranormal experience. Not everybody gets that at the Winchester house when you visit, but most likely you could have a possible encounter because it is known to be very active and very haunted, and I believe that. So definitely, and I can say in the seance room too, because that's awesome. So definitely once you pass the threshold to go from the seance room to that closet area, which is like wooden planks. That's what I remember that was like on the side of me. That was when I had my experience. So that was close enough to paranormal that I had that I can share with you guys. So yeah, that was my experience at the Winchester house. You let me know what you think about it, but I thought that was very fascinating and cool to share. Definitely Sarah Winchester, again, is a badass female, ahead of her game, ahead of her time. She just is a big inspiration, and it's just, she did live a tragic life. So definitely respect to her. And rest in peace, Sarah Winchester. But if you do visit San Jose area, definitely recommend visiting the Sarah Winchester Mystery House. It is definitely worth watching and checking out because it is such a beautiful house filled with mysteries and its ghost. Definitely worth watching. And watch the film. Obviously the film that, pretty much interrupted my filming. But anyways, go ahead and check it out. It's a good film too. I actually watched it a couple years back. I'm like, I'm watching this freaking film because I want to see the film that stopped my filming. So I checked it out, and it's actually a pretty good film. So go ahead and check it out too. That's a really good movie. Also check out the Mystery Spot. Why not? Mystery Spot is also a fascinating facility to check out. and to go against the laws of gravity and physics. So go ahead and check out the mystery spot in Santa Cruz, California. And thank you for your patience. Again, we're going to work on Alcatraz. We're working on our hardest on it. So stay tuned on that. That will be the next upcoming episode. I'll keep you posted with further updates of where my laptop is at in California, what's the status with driver savers. Cross my fingers that hopefully they're able to fix my issue, and we can get those videos out to you guys. Again, not all my videos have been corrupted throughout these segments of Supernatural Eye. They're just some of them, and unfortunately that was one of them, which Alcatraz was my favorite episode. But anyways, Sarah Winchester, thank you guys for your patience and the mystery spot. This is such a great episode too. Now I'm excited to announce Danny's segment, so we're going to switch it up a little bit different. Thanks for your guys' patience, by the way. Due to that, I wanted to do something a little bit different and something to keep you guys entertained, something special for you guys and your patience. So I now want to announce Danny's segment. Instead of doing a post interview, I figured why not do something different and switch up the game a little bit and do a mini psychic reading that he will go ahead and host. So again, I'm going to pass on this segment to Danny Zabaleta. Thank you for watching Supernatural Eye. Mwah. Love you guys and have a good night. Bye.
How are you guys doing today? Another episode of Paranormal Eye. I'm your host, Danny Zabaleta. Today we're holding a special interview. We're having a psychic reading live on this channel. I want to introduce Ameila. She will be assessing Deymi. So she was the selected winner of this special episode. She'll be able to do a reading for her. We're going to go about 20 minutes, and I will check with you guys here afterwards. I'm going to let them jump on here. Let me see one second. So how are you guys doing today?
Hi.
Hi, so excited for today.
Yes, happy to have you both here. If you want to introduce yourself, a little bit about you, and we'll move forward with the whole interview.
Sure.
Who do we have here? Who wants to start?
I'll go first. So my name's Deymi Jones, and I'm from Naples, born and raised. I am an insurance agent, and I don't know what else there is to share in lovely old paradise.
Good stuff. Thank you for sharing that. Now, Ameila.
My name's Ameila. So I've been a psychic practicing it for about 25 years, but I've been born as a psychic, so I don't use any tools. I've just used my visions. Obviously, to a certain point, I was too young to do it professionally. So when I could do it, when I understood what was going on, I've been doing it since. So I've helped tens and thousands of people my whole life. So this is very natural for me. I'm very excited about today.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for being here with us today and being part of this whole interview and being part of the Supernatural Eye. So thank you so much. I'm going to jump on here. If you guys want to start, I'll let you guys have your screen time for both.
Okay, perfect.
Excellent.
Okay.
So I guess, I don't know. I mean, how does this work? I mean, I've done it before, but I've always been the person that's kind of the middle person that I'm used to communicate to the other people, the messenger, I guess.
Right. No, that makes sense. So we are going to take it step by step. The only thing is, one thing I would definitely want to mention is you only want to ask questions where you're ready to hear the answers for, because I'm brutally honest. So whatever visions I get, it means that I have no choice but to explain everything in as much detail as I can.
Right.
right? I don't legally, as psychics, we don't do, health and any questions about the law, right? But
Mhm.
otherwise, we can cover any other ground that you feel comfortable talking about. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start, and I'm gonna get you to spell your first name for me.
So it's D like dog, E like elephant, Y like yellow, M like mother, I like igloo. So it's Deymi.
Deymi. Okay, so and Deymi, what's your last name?
Jones.
Jones. Okay. What's your birth date?
November 15th, 1990.
Okay, so to start right now, I already have your energy. Okay, so what we're gonna do is start with the first question, and I'm going to allow you to ask. You want to make it as specific as you can. That's how detailed your answer will be. So if it's a vague question, you're gonna get a very vague answer.
Right.
Okay. But so I'm going to let you start with your first question. By the time we're into our second and third and fourth question, you'll pick up the groove of things. Okay. So go
Okay.
ahead and ask your first question what it is and say it slowly because I do write it down. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So this one pertains more so for my dad and something that I have always wanted to know because my dad has never spoken about well, not his family, because I know his family. He's never spoken about his father. And he's always said he left at a young age. And we've always heard rumors that either he's dead or he is alive. And I don't even know his name because my dad can't remember his name. So we kind of just want to know, like, is he still out there?
Okay. So that would be your
Grandpa.
grandpa. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me check. Okay. Do some scribbles. So give me a minute. Okay.
Okay.
Right away, I see yes, he definitely is. Okay. I'm gonna see what else I can get behind that.
Mhm.
So there's obviously a huge, huge disconnect between your dad and your grandpa.
Mhm.
And it's heartbreaking for your dad.
Yeah.
It's devastating, if anything. It's also devastating for his grandfather, like your grandfather, his dad.
Mhm.
Do you want me to see the reason behind it or no?
Say that again.
Do you want me to see the reason behind it or no?
Oh,
Why there was
absolutely.
okay. Okay. Okay, so your grandfather has more than one family obligation, is what I got. Okay, so he kind of picked and chose what direction he felt he needed to go at that time.
Mhm.
I don't see it as a wrong decision because I kind of feel like if he would have kind of went towards your dad, the other situation would have been not doing very well at all.
Okay.
So I think it was a desperation, kind of like, okay, he could take a left or right, but he needed to figure out who can kind of like be independent and figure it out. He had good intuition, your grandfather. That's the thing. And this is something interesting because I feel like you have very good intuition. Like
Yeah.
you're able to pick up on emotions and like a connection with individuals and their feelings at a whole different level than most people are used to,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people can't do that. It is what it is. But your grandfather knew he had to kind of just, things happen and that's fine. He has no regrets about it, but he kind of had to go another direction. Now your grandfather has regrets, but this is his
Has what?
regrets because of not supporting your dad, right?
Right.
But he has to come to that day and age one day, because he created the situation.
Right.
Your dad didn't create this, your grandfather did. But you know, he did what he had to do, and you know, your dad was strong enough to be able to he was definitely, your dad is a very strong person. I mean, I have to be honest, I could feel his strength. It wasn't easy for him ever. He kind of always thought twice or whatever, but you know what, he never, like, he kept moving forward though. That's the difference. Your grandfather right now is going through a stage of complete regret, but that is just karmic. He's gonna have to eventually, and that's where he is right now. Okay.
Now, are you able to tell me if he's like nearby? Is he, you know, in another country?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Did he ever make it to the US? You know, there's questions that, because we've always assumed he's here.
Yeah, no, right away, right now at this minute, I get the answer far. He's far.
Okay.
So he's not near. Okay. And that's what I see as of this minute. Right now, when I keep being shown as of this minute, it means that can change.
Right.
Okay. Right now, he's far. So go ahead and ask. You can get me to elaborate, ask as many questions as you want regarding this topic or another, but I'll keep getting answers. So go ahead and ask your next one.
So because he decided to leave, my father has a world of issues with addiction, you know, and it's caused a lot of, I guess, separation between him and my mom, but they're still together, but they're not still together. Is there a future for them? Is there love in that future? I mean, I really, you know.
You're talking about your mom and dad, right?
Yes, because all of that kind of resonates with that whole hurt from his childhood.
Okay. Do you feel comfortable about giving first names about your mom and dad? You don't have to.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
What's your dad's name? Okay, that's fine. Yeah. And your mom? Okay. I'll take a look here. I don't know, like, I haven't looked in depth right now in your mom's background, but definitely a lot to do with your dad. He has, the reason why they keep holding on is your dad doesn't, because he was left, if that makes sense. Yeah, our relationship's hard, 100%.
Right.
Can they be easy at times? Of course they can. But he almost kind of refuses to give up because of the situation with his dad. And I think this is why you're connecting with it, because it's almost like anything and everything your dad does it's because of what happened with his dad.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, is their relationship going to be easy? I see no. I also do see that your mom and dad have had a past life before. It's not, so it's a karmic relationship. This is why it's hard for them. It's not like more highs and less lows. It's more like less, it's more lows and less highs.
Okay.
And I know you feel that because you're the child.
Yeah.
More than them, because they're stuck in it. You're just looking from the outside now.
Right.
Because you're grown, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, but you know what? I mean, it is karmic, and the good thing out of this that's gonna come, if they stick with it, their dues are going to be done, and then, you know, their next life or whatever direction they go, it's going to be so different and so amazing. But you know what? Good for them. Like, you really got to give them props for that.
Now, does my dad live in old age, or does he give in to his addiction? And do you know?
Remember, I don't do health. That's the
that's
issue.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't do legal. Can I look into addiction? I can look into how, like, that. I can look into addiction if I can pick up on it and see if I'm showing it anything. Because I know I do know his addictions are fairly bad.
Yeah.
And it doesn't just impact him, it literally impacts everyone, right? Okay, let me take a look. Okay, do you have a birth date for him? Or
Yeah. December 13th.
Yeah.
1965.
Okay. I'm being shown right now he will struggle at least 5 to 10 years. So there's no time in the spirit world at all. You know, and that's why it's getting numbers and like an accurate time frame. It's very difficult because they don't know that. But I'm still out of feeling it. I'm getting about good 5 to 10 years, and it looks like he's still getting through it. Like it's not like you don't have to worry about that. That's what I'm seeing right now. Luckily, you know. So yeah, no, good 5 to 10 years. He's going to be dealing with it. So that means there's a hope there where he completely turns around.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can ask another one, babe.
Now, like I mentioned before, I've always been the person that's kind of delivering the message.
Yeah.
Is there anyone that's ever wanted to deliver a message to me personally? Do you
Yeah.
because I feel this energy a lot lately that it's just kind of like around me, and I don't know if it's good or bad energy, but it definitely has clouded a lot of for emotionally, and I feel it.
I see positive. Let me see where it's coming from, okay? Okay. Do you have children?
I have 2.
Okay. Okay, so a lot of the messages that you're currently getting is from your ancestors, so it's their like spirit guides. You are being guided at the minute. It looks like you're very new and fresh opening up to the spiritual world, like you just have not been there long enough. You've been feeling it for a long time, but there seems to be a block. Not that you've been blocking it, but you haven't been like over the top open to it. But now you're kind of hitting not even a different chapter in your life, you're like hitting an entire new book. So this is something you have to emotionally, mentally, and physically prepare yourself for now. This is huge. Okay, so you're so used to being this way, and I think when you kind of get pushed towards a complete change, it's scary, because this way was scary enough. It's scary to be like, okay, if I change, it's gonna be even scarier. Like, what are the chances of it being better? So you can kind of remove the blocks and put down your walls right now, because you're being finally guided the right direction. Completely, you're ready for the shift. Just be open to it, and you really have to do that. So it is with your spirit guides, and that's huge. But right now, where you are now, not where you were a year ago or 2 years ago, you're ready now. So remember, you're not your grandfather. You're not your parents. You're not even your kids. It's you. And then you're here with your own purpose. You're not here for their purpose. And I think you have this connection. Doesn't mean the connection's going to break. You just have to make sure you're prepared to kind of move on completely to a whole different realm and spirituality world. You're ready for it now. It won't take away that connection though. I think you're kind of like splitting it up. Like it's either them or this.
Right.
It's not the case at all. This is you. It's just you, and they're still a part of that, but it's going to be different from who they were. And I think there's that fear of like feeling disconnected, but you are ready for it. You're ready for it. So in the next 12 months, we're looking at balancing you, and you're pretty much spiritually almost there. Allow everything in and allow the change in, and watch everything change naturally around you. Not in a hard way, because you've seen a lot of people around you having to change through hardship.
Right.
So you kind of feel like when there's hardship, it feels like a normal thing. Like, okay, there's hardship. If I have hardship, that makes sense. You can relate. Okay. When
Yeah.
you don't feel hard, when finally you're not going to feel hardship anymore, it's going to be a foreign feeling for you. But again, I mean, you have these chapters, but you're ready for a new book right now.
Yeah,
Okay?
because more specific, like my husband and I are in the middle of selling our home. But
Yeah.
we don't know if it's the right decision. And
Mhm.
we're pulling our children out of their childhood home at this point. To them, it's their childhood home. They haven't lived too long. But I want to know, is it the right decision? Is that part of that chapter that you're saying?
Okay, let me see. The idea of a move, what time frame are you looking at? I can see if it's right or wrong.
Probably in the next 2 months. And we're doing it for a financial standpoint.
Right. It looks like you have no idea like where you guys are going after, though.
None.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay, hold on. So right away I got no. So it's not feeling right because you guys you don't know where you're going.
Right.
I mean, it's literally like why would you like just go into it blind? Okay. So what I'm shown, yes, will it happen within 6 months, and will you have a financial gain from it? 100%. Will it be beneficial? Of course it will. I'm being shown within 2 months, finally, because you're feeling that push. Like you can think you're going in 2 months, it's not happening. Thinking that way is great. It's going to take you literally 8 weeks to just come up with a plan. Like, okay, here's an area, here's the loss, there's the gain, here's a little down payment. Where are we going? Where's the school? That's 8 weeks that you're looking at. 2 months, no. To make this insane change in your entire life in 2 months, it's not realistic, and it's not beneficial. And I don't see a financial gain from it. There is going to be a loss from it, and that's what you're feeling. Can people move in 2 months and make a profit? Of course they can. But does that mean it's going to work for you guys? No. That's what I'm saying. So what I'm showing within the next 8 weeks is literally you need to spend every moment planning, picking a couple of locations, getting out there while the kids are in their school. I think you might be maybe putting pressure on yourself because it's a new school for the kids and not wanting to change their school. That has nothing to do with it. They're kids. It's going to hurt you more than it's going to hurt them. Right?
Right.
So I'm looking at 6 months, like a huge positive change. I see financial gain, and you guys, it'll be smooth sailing. The change needs to take place.
Okay.
It is your next book. That's where you're moving on. But you're just starting. You're getting
it also doesn't hurt me and my husband either in our relationship. Do you see that?
No, I see a financial gain. I think financials is a very big thing when it comes between you and your partner right now. That's huge right now. Money, I mean, that's huge. That's the number one reason for divorces. We all know that. And that's why you got to be extra careful with our day and age and our situation in the world. And it has to do with financial, that pressure. I don't see it impacting you in a negative way at all. I mean, if your husband comes home and says like, hey, I'm making, I just got a raise there, then that makes sense. Right? But I don't see that happening within the next 8 weeks. That's all I'm saying. Will you guys you could do it sooner than 6 months, but this is up to you to make sure you get the planning done, professionally, what you want to do and where the kids are going to school. You can do that actually less than 8 weeks if you want. You don't have to do it 6 months from now. I'm just showing with your energy as of today what you've decided where it's headed. Before having this conversation. It's going to take you half a year.
Okay.
Right? So now you know what it's going to take. You can do it within 3 months if you want.
Got
okay.
it.
Okay. Do you have another question? I'm losing track of time, so just let me know when I'm supposed to be quiet. I could go nuts forever. Okay, so I'm ready for another question, babe.
So I wanted to see maybe like my grandmother can you connect with loved ones?
Yeah.
I wanted to just
What's her
kind of
name?
Lena.
Yeah, okay, I got her. What was the question?
Just how's she doing? I mean, there was a lot that happened when she passed away. We kind of she was very into the spiritual world, and the rumors that came to us that she was taken by the spiritual world and it wasn't a natural cause. So there's always been different suggestions about that, and my dad especially was very close to her, so he's always felt that energy from her telling him, from what he says, is just open the door, and whatever that means, we don't know what that means.
Hmm.
There was just a lot left unsaid with her because it happened so sudden.
Yeah, let me just see what's going on. I'll see where she is right now first, and then we'll take it from there, okay? She was taken back like quite a few years ago, wasn't she?
Yes.
She's not in the spiritual world anymore. She's
Okay.
moved on, her soul. Okay. So she's in, okay, so she's not in the spiritual world anymore. Yes, spiritually she can connect with you, but she's no longer communicating with you.
Okay.
She has many soulmates, including, you know, obviously her family and many lives before then. She's been on her soul is extremely old, so it makes sense why your dad feels like very connected. And sorry, this bee is really pissing me off. Bees love me. Sorry. Okay, so she actually is very young right now, and she's back on planet Earth. So that's where the connection could come from. Okay, knowing that it's just not a different world anymore, it's the same world. And I think that's what, you know, he's feeling. No, she's definitely moved on. She's done her dues. She did a lot in the spiritual world, actually, a lot of good. She has a lot of good karma, and she's happy. She's like really happy. So compared to her life before, and maybe even the one before, this one is going to be completely different for her. Okay.
Now,
So that's where the connection is being felt, because being in a different realm and then being on like the same planet are two different things.
okay. Now you say she's back on this planet. I do have a younger daughter, and she has even said her name without even knowing who she is. Is there any connection there?
When was the last time she did that?
Maybe about 4 months ago. She was looking at a painting that wasn't even her, and she said, "Oh."
Yeah, okay, let me see. How old is your daughter?
She is going to be 3.
Okay. What's her first name? Okay, yeah. Okay, so what I pick up is Zoe's going to be a lot like you, extremely spiritual. That's what you're picking up. Okay.
Okay.
She's able to pick up on a lot of stuff. She actually is very gifted, more so than anyone that you're going to come across, and she's very young. Okay. And that's why she picks up on it. Now, obviously, does she know about her? No, but she can pick up on her soul and energy, though. That's the difference. She doesn't need to see a picture. She just like comes across it and she feels it. She's very spiritual, like extremely, and she's going to go down that route, and you're going to feel and see that. You have your own gift, but hers is the strongest right now that I'm getting out of any family member that you have.
Okay.
That's the explanation to that. Right now, for sure, I can tell you your grandma has gone back to a family that she was with, oh my God, so many lives ago.
Wow.
Okay. I mean, so many lives to go. So she's just not done here right now. She's not always going to be here. She's going to move on and move up. She's not far from that. She actually was an amazing soul. She did struggle a lot and she actually suffered a bit. So it's hard for her, but she's back to do her dues and then she's going to move up, you know, but she is with the family she's been with before in the past.
Wow. Now,
Yeah.
have I ever been with a family in the past? I mean,
You have,
what's
yeah.
my next step?
Okay. Okay, so you want to know anyone in your life now is from your past, or you want to know like where you're headed, or anyone coming? Like what is your question exactly?
Anyone in my life now from my past?
Yeah. Okay, let me see who.
While we come up with the last question, I want to jump in. We're running almost out of time, so just a heads up.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Okay, so I do see that you and your husband have been married in the past.
Okay.
So he is also a karmic relationship, just like your dad and your mom.
Wow.
So it's never, I think sometimes you have those days where you just sit back and like compare.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, is that a good thing?
Best thing I can tell you to do is to learn about, you know, soulmates and karmic relationships, is get a good understanding of them. And twin flames, like they're all different relationships. It's really sit there and Google them. They're there to just teach you life lessons and give you growth. So yeah, you can make it the best thing ever. That's your choice in this life.
Right.
But karmic relationships are never going to be easy because they actually force the most lessons and growth throughout your life. Right? So they're the most beneficial. They're not the most exciting, but you can definitely make them really exciting once you have a good understanding of it. But they are
so in that case, would my husband be the right person for me?
For this life right now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll check. I am being shown you're gonna have more soulmates come into your life. This could be on a professional level. Soulmates are people that you've already been married to in the past. So it could be like just like a boss, or it can be like a best friend that you'll feel connected to. Do you know what I mean? Because you've married them before. Your soul's going to recognize them, just like your soul recognized your husband, right? And what I'm getting out of that is, yeah, it's always can be easier, right?
Right.
So karmic relationships are the hardest, but the most rewarding. Or you can choose to have easy now and hard in the next life. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
Yeah, so we can never run away from our life lessons and growth, even though we would love to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I want to thank you both for coming on.
Yeah. Okay.
So much, Deymi, and thank you so much, Ameila, for showing up and giving us this powerful interview. Amazing, you know, the revelations and, you know, the chat that you guys both had. Very powerful stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure you
Bye.
guys,
It was so nice to meet you. Bye, guys.
So nice to meet
you
you.
guys tune in on August 7th on Saturday. This episode will be released. Make sure you like the page, subscribe, so you can keep ahead and get noticed for any future updates we're going to be having.
Bye, Danny.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
So yeah, that wraps up the Winchester Mystery House episode. So thank you guys for tuning in. I promise you it wasn't going to disappoint. We're still working on Alcatraz, so stay tuned on that. That's coming up on episode 4, so I'll keep you posted on the details on that. So I'm hoping I get my videos recovered, but in the meantime, stay tuned. I promise you that one's not going to disappoint as well. Another thing is stay tuned for the Haunted Hermanas podcast. That's coming up here in August. So on their end, we're going to be working with them. So stay tuned. And yeah, thank you guys for watching.
Walking waiting.